That is an accurate description of everything.
All of my thoughts just
If
left
you
my
guys
head,
can't see
actually.
Ken's, that is exactly. Just imagine the most. I don't even want to say tired. Tired over it.
Just like emotionally
Yeah, that too.
exhausted. Hmm.
I know we said we were at our limits last week.
It's not even playoffs anymore. I will say I did, as a Ferrari fan, choose to not watch the race this morning. I was like, let me protect my peace.
Very, very, very good decision on your part.
Yeah.
It got better.
Well, then I heard that McLaren made some really interesting decisions and had
They
some
always
horrible
do.
pit stops. And I was like, you know what?
They always
As
do.
a Ferrari and McLaren girly, I'm just happy I didn't watch the race today.
Yeah, it. I fear. I explained it to somebody that Ferrari is. This is the funniest thing that it expands across leagues. But Ferrari are the Leafs of F1, where they're like a legendary team and they've won championships but have not done it in a
I feel
while.
like if you put Montreal and Toronto into one team, that's
It's
what
them.
Ferrari is. Yeah.
That's actually a good point. But like the suffering they go through like as a fan base, I'm like, it is the equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good on you. You can go watch the replay. But
I have no desire. I
it
really
was
haven't been like watching the races this year. I keep like putting them on and then not paying attention to them.
it was a
Um,
good one today. There's two safety cars. Two. It was decent.
I could not be bothered. Also, I stayed up to watch SNL
Oh
after the
yeah.
Stars game because I was like, okay, well, Colin and Michael are leaving.
Yeah, I actually hate
And
that.
so I want to watch. And then we get to Weekend Update and no one says anything. Funniest Weekend Update, by the way. They do like that
I
joke
know.
swap. Oh,
I love those.
so good. Um, I fear that Colin's losing his edge though, because Michael Che's were so much funnier.
So I know. I literally just saw the video before because I was still at work when it was on
It's
or
so
driving home.
funny.
So I saw it, but just before. And those are my favorite. They do it around Christmas too, I think. And it's always my favorite. Like if that was, it's just so good. 10 out of 10.
Sorry, I'm losing it.
It's okay. We
So
both
that was on, and then at the end of it, I was like, okay, maybe they'll announce that they're leaving in the good nights. And
are. Is
then the
this not just a rumor?
broadcast, it's been a rumor for like a while, and then it was
Yeah.
like heavily rumored that they were staying just for the 50th.
Oh,
Um,
got it.
and then there were quite a few jokes made at Lauren Michaels' expense. Um,
Yes.
and so I think we all kind of were like, so it's happening. No, we get to the good nights and the broadcast cuts 10 seconds into it. So we all had to wait for SNL to like post the good nights and then nothing happened. So I'm like, great. So I stayed
You
up
stayed up for nothing.
for no, I mean, great episode, but for nothing. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And then because I was in the middle of a chapter, because like every commercial break I would read a little bit and
Oh,
then
that's
like some of the
smart.
sketches I didn't find funny, so I'd keep reading. And
Yeah.
like, cool, Bad Bunny, I don't really care. Um, so I just read during his performances. And then I was like intrigued. I had just gotten to like the beginning of the bar scene in
Yeah.
Windy City. Like I'm
Hold on.
literally like
I need to preface. I told
I'm right here. Like I'm just at
friends
the beginning.
to read this series, one of my absolute favorite series ever. And she texted me last night, like literally as I'm leaving work, and she
It's
goes,
this, by the
"Is this a
way.
hockey book?" And I was like,
Well,
"Well, yes."
okay. So
There's different sports in the series, but it starts with hockey. But then Kent's like, "I never read the blurbs, so how are you
yeah,
supposed to
so
know?"
part one is I literally do not read the blurbs of books. Um,
I love that about you. Like you just like you literally like instead of judging it by a cover, you're just like, "I'm gonna read it because of
no, I
the cover."
literally judge books, but okay. Let's talk about it real quick. Hi, welcome back to Read Between the Blue Lines. I'm Mackenzie That's Brie. I'm gonna go on a rant
Hello.
real quick. Why I understand the saying don't judge a book by its cover. However, what I don't understand is quite literally not judging a book by its cover. Because what is the point of having cover art? What is the point of paying an
Mhm.
artist to make good cover art and have a cohesive thing? And da 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 da. And like the style of the book is literally why people read it.
Yeah. I think my theory is like it came from somebody who had a bad cover of the book and the book never got read. And they're like, you can't judge a book by its cover. But I'm like, if you don't have an enticing cover, I don't want to pick it up. Like
Yeah,
the
see, but
cuter the
I'm
cover.
also the kind
No,
of person who like I have the old covers of
I was I was just gonna say that somebody pointed out how like they've read and they're like nobody will ever understand the embarrassment of reading a book about whatever and
well,
like a girl's
yeah,
panties
hold
are
on
on the
because
front
let me find
and they redid them so they look like cuter and more acceptable.
hold on. I need to find the one that's like
The score is it? Which one is it?
questionable.
The one with the girl's legs and they're like
It's not that one. This
I
is
literally saw this the other day and I thought the same exact thing.
but like okay.
Oh, that was not the one I was thinking. No, I wasn't. What's the one with the?
This one for me was embarrassing to read in public.
No, what's the one?
I'm like, it looks like a 50 Shades of Grey
Okay, true.
spin-off.
The one where it's the one right before that. Why am I blanking on the title? Yeah,
The
this one.
Mistake?
Reading that in public, it's just like, it's embarrassing. And
Yes.
now they made them look so nice and pretty, and the
Well, now they
couples
all
are on
have
it, and
like
they're
the cartoon
cartoon.
covers,
Yeah,
which
but I'm
I
like, now it's
also
socially
argue
acceptable.
are like they're cute, but I also argue that it totally can mislead children who are like, "Oh my
Yes.
God, book."
That's a
Well,
whole other discussion
anyways,
about what ends up in the YA section that does not
and also
belong in the
parents
YA
supervising their
section.
children.
Yeah. But I am very much somebody, if it's a cute cover, I am picking it up to read the
Hmm.
back of it. If
Hmm.
it's not a cute cover, I hate to say I'm walking past it, but I'm walking past it. Even the only exception I have for that is like thrillers, like, or like mysteries or
Yeah.
horror, I guess. But I still like it still has to seem like interesting enough
I
for me
still
to
want
pick
it
it
to
up.
be like cool.
Yeah. Like that's not gonna be a cute cover, but I want it to be like interesting enough.
Well, so it's not
But
that
it's
I
a valid
never
point.
read the blurb.
Have you literally always have done that?
So if there's a book that I see in the bookstore that like I've never seen recommended, so I'm picking out specifically um
Ah!
Songs in
He's
Ursa
like
Major,
skydiving.
this book,
Ooh,
which
I like it.
sick cover, but I've
Yeah.
never seen it recommended before. It was one of the like in Barnes and Noble when you go and they have like if you've read this, you should read this.
If you like this, you like that. Yeah.
So it was a Daisy Jones and the Six like
Equivalent.
comparison. And
Ooh.
so I did actually read the blurb for this one.
But it's only because you've never seen it before.
Yes.
Yeah,
However,
that makes
if
sense.
there are books that have been recommended to me by a friend, by someone that I know likes reading, by a coworker,
You're just like, yeah, I'll take it.
or like even on TikTok, like if it gets like the Mile High series is really popular on TikTok,
Mm.
I don't read it. I also will say that at least for the goal for El Kennedy, because that was my first one, I saw that it
Which I still
said
think is crazy.
I saw that it said law student and I saw that it said hockey player and I went,
That's for me.
cool.
I
And
can't.
then that devolved into all of them.
Yes.
So anyways, I just so you know, it's literally the first that's it says Xander's Chicago hockey. That's yeah. So whoopsies.
Didn't even flip the book over.
I just don't read it. Um and then it's all about like which I should have known because I knew that there was a book about the flight attendant and the hockey player that she was a flight and like
Yeah.
I should have known, I'm aware. But the
There's an
first
airplane on the
page
cover.
has the hockey thing and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, it's a hockey book."
It's so
I
it's only
feel
the
like I'm
first
already
one,
very
so
annoyed because like they're not supposed to date. And here's the issue is that someone with an anti-fraternization policy, you literally can't talk to these players outside of
yeah.
work.
It's
So I'm like,
fiction.
I understand that.
What is the thing where it's like suspend your disbelief or
Yeah.
whatever? Just
I'm
live in your
just
little
but I feel like books being judged by their cover like literally is the whole point.
I agree. Also, I feel like
Also because
especially
then
now when we live in like a very like book
visual.
talk is a thing, like
Yeah.
every people have bookstagrams, like I feel like nobody's gonna the prettier the cover, the more traction it gets online because
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, it's really cute," or "I want that to look nice on my bookshelf," and that's how it gets
Well, that's also why we
It's
have
one.
all of those Penguin Classic, like cloth
Yeah,
bound versions.
because they're so much nicer.
Yeah, it's like those are the only hardcovers I like. But it's also why like I have like we have different versions of books. Like you can't actually see them currently. Like
Because like I
my
have all these other books behind me.
I do. The Lord of the Rings books, like
Yeah.
that's one set. There's another set. I have like the really old Hunger Games books.
That's why they do the special editions too, and like the re-releases. Yeah,
Like I
and
have a
those
really
sometimes end up
new
being
1984.
yeah,
And it just like there's different cut because people are visual.
yeah.
It's
That's
like
my. But then this goes into the special edition. I actually just bought one like last week. The splayed edges on books that end up being like when they re-release them. Sometimes they have like the different designs and the actual pages. Like when you hold the book this way.
mhm.
I have mixed opinions. I did buy one. I think it's the first one I own ever last weekend or 2 weekends ago. But that's a whole other thing.
I have two, I want to say, and it's the complete collection of William Shakespeare and
Ooh,
it's Jekyll and Hyde. I think
I
those
like it.
are both have gold sprayed edges. I will say I would consider buying like like the Etsy artists who like literally paint like a state.
Yeah.
I would consider doing that for one of like the fantasy books that I have, but
Mhm.
I just for me like I don't see the spines and I am not
Yeah.
the kind of like it would I'm aware that this is very disorganized right now. I don't come for me. But like when my bookshelf is
Oh.
fully organized, if I have one that's facing the no. Nope.
Also, like, I don't, I get it when you're like looking at it, like when you're reading it, but when it's on my shelf, you can't tell
Yeah.
because you're
Well,
looking
that's what
at
I'm
the
saying is I'm not
side of
gonna
it.
have it facing like pages out.
Yeah. No, that would actually
Also,
irk me.
yeah. I also like really need to go through and do like maintenance on the books because your books can get like dusty and there are
Yeah.
bookworms. They are real and like mold can get into them.
That's terrifying. Stop. I know they're real, but I hate
Well,
thinking about
also,
it.
I think like one of the things that I hate the most is people who pull their books to the front of their bookshelves because the problem is if you have books that are different
Side.
sizes,
Yeah.
like this, the pressure will kind of force your pages to sit like this and then your books warp. Which is why
Yeah.
you're actually supposed to have them pushed all the way to the back or get like a spacer. This has become a
I've never
bookshelf
ever
keeping lesson for
pulled
those
them
of
up.
you who don't know.
Fun facts. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
You're
run
also
out of
not
room.
supposed to store records like horizontally. They're supposed
Yeah,
to
they
be
go this
vertical. Listen, I people don't know. People don't
way.
know. You have to learn. It's
You
okay.
do, yeah. And you'd rather learn
But
it this way than learn the hard way. So,
I got a collection from someone who was getting rid of their record player, and
I don't know.
it was probably like 400 records, and they were
Whoa.
all stored horizontally for years with like no protective covers,
Oh
no
my God.
nothing. And like, listen, like I understand that like back in like the 70s and 80s, like it you just had records and it
Normal.
wasn't like a keeping track of
Yeah.
whatever. Um, it's like
Do they
all of
work when
them.
you use them?
I haven't played one yet because they're
Oh,
all so dirty and I have to like literally clean them.
go through them, yeah.
Well, also like some of them were cracked, some of them were warped, some of them had literally grown foreign substances and
Oh my God.
he gave like he sent it to
Science experiment.
no, he literally like gave all of them to me and I went through them with like two layers of gloves on and a mask.
Oh my God.
And like promptly threw away like anything that was close to like anything that had mold. Oh, it was
Yeah.
so bad. It was so bad. And then I cleaned the house like seven. Oh, it was such a problem.
That's crazy.
I'm also allergic to dust, so whenever I do have to clean all of this, I do have
It's
to
just
wear
keeps getting worse.
like an N95.
Oh my God. Yeah, take care of your books. That
Yeah.
I actually have to rearrange mine because I've run out of room on my shelf
Yeah.
and they need to be repositioned or I every once in a while I go through and I take the ones out I haven't read or don't want anymore. And then I go to one of the little libraries, like the free libraries we have around. I just drop them off and send them on their way. But I have to do it because I'm like 10 books over what fits on that shelf. It's really bad. So,
I just need to reorganize it because it's just like it's a mess currently.
We love it. I also say that as like I have too many books I need to read because half of those are my TBR. And then the other day I downloaded 4 books on my Kindle. I'm like, this looks great. I saw this on TikTok. I'm gonna read this, or I want to read this one. And I'm like, this is an arc I'm applying for. I'm like, girl, you need to stop.
Well,
Like
you and I
those
talked
books are
about it.
staring at you.
When did we talk about it? A few days ago, where I was saying that if I like the like TBR shelf that people have,
Oh yes,
and I was like, if I did that, I would literally have like
the whole thing.
probably a whole bookshelf.
Of them.
Um, also then they'd be out of order.
That's why I won't do it because all of mine are like organized, and I'm like, if I pull them out and put them in a separate spot, it's gonna like make like my brain's not gonna compute first off. I'm gonna forget they're probably separated, and
Yeah.
then it's gonna make me really mad that like there's one from an author that I've read another book by, and they're in 2 different places, and I cannot handle that. So they sit in the same spot.
I also organize mine by category because I have a lot. I think I have 400 books at this point.
I
Um,
love that.
I will note that book buying and reading are different
Very
hobbies.
yes, they should correlate, but usually one happens more than the other, and
And
that's normal.
sometimes instead of a sweet treat, my brain goes, "Ooh, book."
That is a sweet treat for your brain.
Ooh, like a gnat in my room.
Oh, he wants
Or
to join in the conversation.
no, it's probably like a little tiny moth actually.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I have a lot of books. I
A little
also
bit.
have a problem where when I buy books, I buy the whole series.
I'm the complete opposite.
Well,
You
so
know how
I
many
didn't.
series
I
I
didn't with this one.
okay, good, but I'm the opposite way where I'm always like, I'll buy the first one. If I like the rest of the series, I'll read it. And I can tell you about six minus the only one I think I own, like start to finish, is The Summer I Turned Pretty, ironically. Every other one, I either own the first book and I've read them everywhere else, or I own like A Court of Thorn and Roses. I bought 3 of them at a thrift store, but they didn't have the first one. So I read the first one like at the library, and then I own the other 3. And it's just oh, sorry, Twilight. I have all Twilight books.
That would literally freak
Yeah.
out my brain. I
No,
also
it's just
cannot go from like reading to audiobook to reading to ebook. Like if
yeah.
I have a book series, they all need to be
It has to be in
physical.
the same format. Yeah, I need to. Other than there's like ones I'm really. What was the one I read last? Curse of a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. If you haven't read it, it's very good. It's my one of my favorites. But I bought the first book to be like, oh, let me just see if I like it. And then I liked it. And then all the other books were available at the library. So I was just like, they're coming home with me. And I never bought them. So I still only own the first book. It just got very bright in here.
It just got very dark in here and I yawned.
Sorry. Oh, that's why you're crying.
Yeah, except
the,
I my moisturizer has sunscreen in it and I like just put it on.
did it get in your eye?
I'm trying to avoid it getting in
Oh
my
my
eye.
God. I feel like I'm on the sun right now.
It's okay. You look fine.
It just got like really sunny. It's okay. It's been raining the last like 3 days
Yeah, you
or
took
whatever.
my
It's been
sun. Very
gloomy.
mean.
But
Okay.
that's so funny. Yeah, so we're the opposites of that. I should buy them all at once, but then I'm like, that's a lot of money. What if I don't like it?
See, but then
Da
the
da da.
issue is if I'm reading it and it's like a cliffhanger or something,
Yeah,
or
then they can just immediately go to the next book.
yeah, or even in like the
Smart.
romance novels where I'm like, I want to know what happens to the next person, and like I read at night, so there's no oh just go buy it. It's typically like a 2 o'clock in the morning. I just finished
Yeah.
the book and I was like, I need the next one,
And then yeah, the ones are that's smart.
and
It
that's
makes sense.
exactly how I sound. In case anyone was wondering, that is the exact reaction I make.
There we go.
I also hate hardcovers, and so like I will not buy Great Big Beautiful Life until it comes out in paperback.
Yeah, I bought it. Also, I
You
know
said
we
the
can complain
font
about
is
this a
weird,
million
right?
times. Why is it $30 for a single book? I understand it's hardcover, and I understand I wanted it so bad I wanted to read it, but why is it $30? Like, I walked in, I knew I was gonna spend that much money because it's at Barnes& and Nobles, but I was like, "Girl." what are we doing? I did buy it. I did buy the inside cover. I usually take like the actual like what's that thing called? The sleeve off
The
when
dust
I'm reading
sleeve,
it
yeah.
because it irks me. I can't ever read it the right way. And the inside has like a cute little quote on it and everything, and it's nice. But I like, I
They
do
were
like
different apparently at different
they were.
stores.
Yeah, that's why like the Target one was different, and then I got the specific Barnes and Nobles edition because I think that's when I got last time. But yeah, I have now I'm even. I have three paperbacks and three hardcovers, but one of them is signed, so I can't be like I don't want it anymore. It's literally signed by Emily Henry. Like, what am I doing with? I know that is a prized possession that is going nowhere. But yeah, I'm the same way.
I
Trust
will
me.
say the thing that irks me the most is when halfway through publication they change the book. So the one that comes to mind most clearly is the
Yeah.
ACOTAR series, where the first 4 or 5 books have the same spine, where they're all like clean and it's the same. And
Yep.
then like the orange book has like the detailing on the
Mhm.
spine, and I'm like, why
Why?
would you do that? Also, when they change the format of the book, like it's either like shorter or taller or stubbier, or they change
Yes,
the
they don't match.
paper, and I'm like, why? Just keep the series cohesive. There's
What?
literally no reason to do
Yeah.
that.
Unless you're like again like re-releasing them all with a new thing, then fine. But don't do it in an unfinished like, oh, there's a new book and I'm gonna release that one to not match the others. Like, don't. If it's
Well,
in the same
also
series, make it match.
because they haven't released like not that I would be buying them, but like the ACOTAR, like they haven't released them with new spines to all match the
Mm-mm.
orange one. And I'm like, just
No,
no, they haven't. Not with like
no,
the
they just
detailing on
redid
the
the
side.
covers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like no, that
that's
would
annoying. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
things that are trivial but kill me for 1,000, Alex. Thank you.
Book related. Yeah, it's fine. And then I still end up buying the book or reading it anyway, but it's okay.
I know, I feel like we should talk about Great Big Beautiful Life, but I also like would have to get it from like the library or something.
Go for it. Do you have a Kindle?
No.
Oh, because I was gonna look up Lexi's book to see if it was on there. I didn't even get to doing that yet, but I was gonna be like, oh, if it's on there, we just read it there. But I did not get that far. I got some other book I wanted to read on there, and I didn't read it. But
I am sure that there is a Kindle in this house
somewhere.
somewhere because I used to have a Kindle. But by that, I mean that Kindle's from like 2009.
Okay, well, that was until I got one for Christmas last year, 2 years ago now, whatever it was, 2 years ago. Mine was straight from 2011. It was like the OG Kindle
Okay,
to the
so then
point
maybe
where
2011.
they
But
stopped updating that.
yeah, but so
So
the issue is it hasn't been turned on
soon enough it
since probably
works.
like 2013. Um,
I love that.
I'm not an e-reader person and I wish I was because I feel like it would be probably better for like my wallet and also my like when I
Yeah.
go to move out.
Oh yeah, I know. That's so my favorite. I like when I travel and like when I'm like I also am a night reader. I will take a book with me or I'll sit with a book, but so I can't like. It sounds funny. Like I can't like lay on my side and hold my book open like this. So like with the Kindle, I'm just like in my hand. We're set. We're good. It doesn't. It and if I'm going somewhere, it takes up less room. It just like goes whatever. But there is I used to be like strongly against it. I still prefer real books over that, but
Do you want to hear a
it
really
is
embarrassing story?
my best friend. What?
I went on a cruise like the week after my first year of law school.
Did you take like 5 books with you?
Oh, that's funny. Um,
Out, did you not have to fly to get on this cruise? Like, do
no.
they not? Oh, I was gonna say because like that is the crazy weight of
No,
books.
it was out of Bayonne, so we drove.
Okay,
Um, I hadn't read like a lot the first year of law school, like at all.
valid.
Um, And so I brought a few books. And then the problem was I didn't know what I was going to read, what I was going to want to read.
That's so real.
And it was like a 7 day cruise. And I was like, well, listen, here's the problem. If I bring book one, I have to bring book two. And if I bring book two, I have to bring book three. So
Hmm.
I brought a literal carry-on
I love it. Just the
full of
books,
books, bubble wrapped
iconic.
to make sure they didn't get like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like mess up.
Um,
That is, I aspire
I
to be that.
maybe read one the whole
Ah,
cruise.
10s.
Well,
I
okay,
thought you
to
were
be
like, oh, I read
fair,
8.
no, because when I was going on the cruise, it was also like the writing competition for law school,
So a lot was going on at once.
which is where you have to take like a citation test
Oh my God.
and then write like an excerpt of an essay based on like research that they give you. And it's like a week-long thing. It's very intensive. I actually like didn't end up leaving my room of that cruise from it was very upsetting.
That sucks.
Um,
Yeah.
my grandma got a lot of sun. We went to a lot of shows. She enjoyed herself. I was on the phone with IT for half of the
I just
trip.
love that you like went and came home with a whole suitcase full of books and read a single one. But
Well,
you were prepared. You were
the
ready.
funny thing was my mom and my grandma both were like, Mackenzie, you're not allowed to do that. And I was like,
Yes, I am.
but what if I want to?
Watch me.
Because again, my plan was to like do the writing competition and then spend the rest of the week
Read.
like chilling and reading by the pool.
Yeah, it makes sense. Mhm. That's one thing I will
So
say is
maybe
much
for the
better
next
for.
cruise I go on, I'll get a Kindle before then
There you go.
because also that thing was like 80 pounds.
That's what I mean. Like, I've never been on a cruise, but like when I fly, if you put them in your, if you put like 3 in your suitcase, I always think I brought like 2 or 3 with me to Australia because I had like the weight limit on it,
It's heavy.
but it adds on. And I just put the Kindle in my purse and I'm set. That thing's coming with me.
I know I really should. And also like the Louise Carmen leather notebook I'm looking at also has like a pocket you can like put your Kindle in the
Oh my
back.
God, I love that.
I know. I know.
It's
I
telling
know
you
I
it's time.
should. I just we'll see.
Now you're okay. I just couldn't remember if you did or not. And I was like, hold on.
No, I currently do not have a Kindle that functions. And
Or
again,
you know where it is.
no, I have no idea. So now that I went on a 20-minute rant about books,
No, it was what we had. That was a good conversation. I'm glad.
um,
I'm reading like 2 good ones right now. So I'm in like I'm like just in the book scene right now, as I usually am, but I'm in the mood. So it works.
yeah, I go through phases where I'll read like 5 books in 2 weeks, and then I won't read
Oh
for like
no,
months. So I'm
that's
trying to be
also
more
real.
consistent with it this year, but I'm definitely very behind on my reading goal.
My
Um,
Goodreads is like yelling at me,
you read so many books.
but I'm
How are
like
you
8 behind
behind?
my goal. It's like 8 behind where you should be. And I'm like, okay, sorry. It's fine. It's okay.
They like changed the format of it.
Someone mentioned that. I'm gonna look at it right now. Did it actually like, is it ugly now?
It's
Or is
not
it just like
ugly, it's
normal?
just different. I am 6 books behind.
Oh, sorry, I'm 7 now. Oh wait, but I didn't put this one in. So
We
I'm
also
really
have
8.
very different reading goals.
But you set yours at.
Mine is at, no, I'm gonna be embarrassed.
Okay, you don't have to say.
I think
I
mine's
set mine at
half of
65.
yours. Okay, mine's at 45.
Okay, that's so real. That's a good one.
Okay.
I only set mine at 65 because last year I tried to aim for 75. In the last like 3 years, I've read about somewhere between 60 and 65. So I was like, I'll set it for 65 on the safe side because I know I'm going to hit that. And then if I go over it, I'll feel like an overachiever instead of falling short of 75. So my average, for the last like 3 or 4 years, I've read at least 60. But 45 is a very good one. Do not,
I
that's
think I hit 30
be
last
embarrassed.
year, and my logic was like, okay, well, you were doing bar prep last year and you were still in school.
Yeah.
No, I still don't read enough. It's fine.
We're also very busy people, so it's all
Also,
good.
the fact that like the average American reads like 5 books a year is appalling to me.
Yeah. I mean,
we have a literacy crisis in this country and it's starting to get really apparent. And I'm,
Yeah.
I will say
It's
I changed. Someone on a dating app asked me like what my like must read book is,
ooh, I like the question.
and I put 1984.
Okay, real. What they say? Did they like not hit like that answer?
They unmatched.
You know what? They're lost. Are you kidding me?
I'm like, either you're stupid and you don't know what the book is, or you know what the book is and you decided that politically you're on the opposite side of that book
And you don't want to get in the conversation? Yeah.
and you don't want to, and like, which is fine.
That's
Um, but
crazy.
I was like, yo, okay.
I mean, it was a good question, but you can't get offended if the
No, no,
answer
no. It
is,
was one of like the prompts.
oh, oh, oh. Okay.
And I was like,
Still, I
okay,
can't. The
whatever.
audacity. What is going on?
Like there are way worse books I could have said. Like,
Yeah.
because at first I was like, maybe I'll do Hunger Games. And I was like, no, that doesn't drive my point home enough. I was like
No, I think it,
1984. Because it was
yeah.
either 1984 or Handmaid's Tale that I was looking at. And I was like, Handmaid's Tale might read a little bit too like scorned woman type vibe. So I was like
Mm,
1984 is still very like I feel like 1984 and Fight Club are similar vibes
yeah.
where you either have like the really like straight toxic male opinion on it
Hmm.
or you have like the lens that the book is the
The
movie is
critical
actually
thinking.
supposed to yeah.
Yeah.
Like I love okay, this is so wrong. I love talking about Fight Club with people because it's one of my favorite movies and all the time when I say that people are like,
Huh?
"Is it really?" And I'm like,
Why
"Yeah,
don't
have
you
you seen
lie?
it?" And
I'd
they're
say,
like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, you should go watch it through like an actual like critical thinking
fun
lens."
fact, I have actually never seen it.
We should do that over the summer.
Yeah, it's one of those movies
Um,
that everybody's like, yeah, you should watch it. And I'm like, I never have the drive to actually sit down and watch it.
it's a I feel like that one and American Psycho are the ones that like straight white men are like, we love this movie. And it's like,
Is that
because you
the
didn't understand it.
yeah, that's the point. Like,
It went
oh my
like
God.
this.
It went over your head. You didn't get what was it's supposed to go into your head, not over it.
And like, I
Intended
haven't
effect did not
finished
happen.
American Psycho. I think I started watching it and then I got drunk with a friend and I did not finish it. But like,
Point still stands
yeah. But Fight Club, great,
on my list. I'll have to watch it.
great piece of cinema.
I love
Just
it.
don't talk to men about it because that's,
Yeah, I wouldn't dream of it.
I feel like my face is drooping.
You could.
I said, I feel like my face is drooping. I feel like my
Oh.
forehead is very puffy.
Oh my God. You're
I'm a
fine.
very vain person.
You're
Like,
good. Trust me.
okay. So we have one more game of round two left.
Yeah. By the
As
time
of
you
the
guys hear
time
this,
this is
it'll
listening, it'll
be
be over.
over. Yeah.
So it's game seven for the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. And I post this on Threads, but someone on Twitter and I completely like I
I saw
scrolled
the
past
tweet.
it. Yeah. She was like, or sorry, I don't know who posted it. They were like, give me a Taylor Swift lyric that describes like this. And I was like, it's Exile. It's I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending because every time that
Mhm.
Toronto goes to a game seven, it's like
They've
not
literally
gonna
we
win.
talked about it at work the other day. The longest game seven losing streaks. Unfortunately, the Avs own the longest one, so it's 7. The Leafs have lost their last 6 game sevens, which is the second longest, and it's active. But I don't know if anybody, I'm sure you're aware of this. The little corgi that
Yes,
the
yes,
corgi said they win game 7 and they win the series. So
I
I do not
am
care what anybody
believing in the
says.
core.
That corgi, it's on that corgi tonight. I don't care. I don't care. The corgi said it's happening, it's happening. I
I
didn't
need the
check the
corgi
other
to be
series to see
right.
how like legit they were. I think they've been pretty good. The dog's always pretty good. But
I need the corgi to be right.
I was like, I saw that video and I was like, that's it. I don't need to see anything else. Corgi said they're winning. Goodbye. That's
I
it.
don't think I can deal with the level of annoyance that a Florida Carolina Eastern Conference final will be.
I again, I don't. I'm just so sick of seeing the same teams get to the full.
Which,
Not
to be fair, we did have a very like different 16 this year. There was a
yeah,
little bit of a shakeup, especially on the East. But then
but all of them got eliminated.
yeah, I know.
Like you gotta give us a little bit of a run.
I really wonder if the Devils weren't injured the way that they
Yeah.
literally no defensemen, half of their forwards were injured. Brat had like another shoulder issue. Like they were so beat up by the time they even got to round one.
Hmm.
And I just want to know what would have happened if they were healthy.
Yeah.
Because I feel
I
like we'd be
forgot
in such a different
like
situation.
we were talking about all the whoever won the series, and when we were talking about Toronto, I like already forgot they played Ottawa in the first round because I've just been like, yeah, Leafs Panthers. I felt like I've been here forever. And no,
It's
they played the
gone on
Senators
for
in
so
the first
long.
round. I was like, what kind of time warp are we in? Because I forgot. Like I knew Ottawa was eliminated, but I was like, I forgot the Leafs played them. Like I feel like we've been in this series forever.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I think it's also my favorite part of this is that it would be so Toronto to force a game seven, go home and lose said game seven. But on the flip side, if they were to win, I feel like that's it. Like, I don't know what would happen if they
So,
advance to the Eastern
so did
Conference Final and they
everyone
win it at home.
see the videos from when the Knicks advanced to the Eastern
Yeah,
Conference final? Because I have a feeling it would be similar.
I, yeah,
Dude, if the Knicks win the NBA championship and Toronto wins the Stanley Cup, I think both countries just burn.
yeah.
So,
But it'll be interesting. I'm like stressed, but I have literally I don't even care. I just want the Leafs to win. Like I don't want the
I know
Panthers anymore. I'm so
I
sorry.
posted a video yesterday
I
on our
can't.
TikTok where I was like, playoffs are so peaceful when you don't care about the outcome. Meanwhile, internally, the entire game yesterday, I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I always say that, but then I'm like, I always have like oh yeah, I want this one team or I'd rather have this team,
Yeah.
whatever. But for this one, I'm like, if I have to watch the Panthers again for another two rounds, because they're probably, if they go to the Eastern Conference Final, I imagine they win.
Here's the issue.
I
Also,
don't,
if the Panthers go to the Eastern Conference final, I have to root for the Canes.
but that's what I mean. I don't,
Like, I'm already struggling trying to root for Toronto.
no, I'm okay. I'm there. This is how I'm looking at. Like, I made the joke about the Golden Knights. I'm like, if they defeat the evil, I'm fine. If they can knock the Panthers out, it's cool. After this, you may not ever catch me rooting for them again. But like,
Okay, but as
I just,
someone who born and raised as an Islanders fan and
oh
then
yeah, I forgot about that
also
about
really
you.
likes the Boston Bruins, like you, it does, I can't do
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited, but
I hope Toronto
we'll
wins.
see.
I don't know that they will, but Ellen Nylander is going to be in the building tonight,
Yes,
so we'll see.
I also no. I just went. No, Edmonton is still in it. I was like, they might be there. That's like the last Canadian team. No, well, if the Leafs lose, it's just Edmonton.
Yeah.
But if the Leafs have to win, if you still want an all Canadian final, putting it out there. So
If you want a Canadian Cup winner, I think you need to
yeah,
root for
that
the
too.
Leafs too, because some like not that the Leafs would win against the Stars,
No,
but like
I was just thinking. I was like, would they? I don't think they would.
it would take a lot.
It'd be that'd be a it'd be a good series, but I don't
That's
think
what
I
I
have.
want. That's what I want the
Yeah, me
Cup final
too.
to be.
But I don't think I have enough like trust in Toronto to be like, yeah, win more than one game based on whatever.
Well, also I feel like the amount
So
of comments that would come from like if the Stars won in four, people would be like, "Oh, it's like a participation trophy basically because no one was gonna like the Leafs were never gonna
Like
be a
deeper.
competitor."
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like everyone would be like, "It's a consolation prize for the Stars." Like that's what it would feel like if they won the
Yeah,
cup
I
against
guess.
the
But I feel
Leafs.
I don't know. I'm just waiting. We'll see.
So looking ahead at Edmonton, Dallas, we're getting a rematch.
Correct. Of last
I
year's Western Conference Final. I feel like I'm living in a time loop. Somebody, anybody, someone get me out of here. It's okay.
I I I really think Dallas should take it,
Yeah,
but Edmonton just refuses to die.
which I don't
So
understand at all. Um, Someone also pointed out that the Oilers, I actually double check. I'm 95% sure that like their run to the cup last year went the exact same way. Like they beat the Kings, they beat Edmonton, not Edmonton. They are Edmonton. They beat
Vegas.
Vegas, and then they met the Stars in the Western Conference Final, and they lost. No, they didn't. Stars lost. I'm like mixing everything up. Stars lost. Anyway, Edmonton played all three teams that they've had this year to make it to the final, and I just think that's ironic. I'm actually 95.
We're living in a
That's
simulation,
lie. They played
Brianna.
Vancouver last year. Someone lied to me.
Oh, okay.
That's a lie. Someone was like, it's like the same thing. And I'm like, they didn't play Vegas last year. Anyway, they played a team that starts with a city that starts with V. That counts.
Who else
But
died?
who?
Someone died. Um, I just like it should be an interesting series, I think, but I also again, I feel like Dallas really should just be able to like show out with this one and I
Yeah.
we haven't had a sweep yet, right?
Nope.
Okay, so we're
We've
probably
had
not
like a
going to.
million game sevens, it feels like, but no sweeps.
We've had so many overtimes, so many game sixes, so many game sevens, and I'm just like they're just taking
I also my other
forever.
thing is we were talking about it last night. Like, if Dallas was forced to a game seven, I was like, how sustainable is it that now you've played two series at game seven? And like if that was the case, you'd be going, say you won that game seven, you'd be going instantly to the conference final like a day later. Like how like there's no off time because you've played two series pretty much as long as you possibly could. They didn't obviously, but game six I still feel like I mean it's still long. It's
Well,
not 5 games.
it's gonna be on
The West starts
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, which
So we're
it
gonna
sucks for
have
Toronto because Toronto or Florida, if they win, whoever wins tonight has to also depends on who wins because it depends on who has home ice. But that starts on Tuesday. So Carolina, like if Florida wins,
which is so stupid to me because I don't understand why we wouldn't have just started the West on Tuesday and done the East on Wednesday.
does anything the league
No,
does
no, I
make
know, I
sense?
know, I know.
No, never. But yeah, I feel like it'd be hard not to pick Dallas, but like I didn't think Edmonton would have. I didn't think they were going to make it past the Kings, and here they are. So
And then as far as the East goes, if it's Toronto, Carolina, I think Carolina takes it somehow, unless their curse of not getting to the final continues.
yeah,
And then if it's Panthers, Carolina, if we
Carolina.
have a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final, I'm going to scream.
I might cry.
I just need everyone to know that.
I might cry. Also, like all the props to the two teams in Florida, but like the fact that you can, there's been if the Panthers make it this year again, the only teams in the East to make the last six Stanley Cup Finals have been the two teams from Florida. I'm so sorry, but We need you
Like,
to take a step back. Like
okay, yes, hockey belongs in the South. However, have we considered
there's other teams in what about
that
Nashville?
we're not talking about Florida?
No.
Give us Nashville, give us Carolina, give us another
Technically,
team
well,
down there and expand. Like
Stars
something.
technically count. But
No, but they're
like
on the West.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like I can't. I cannot do it. Like I love that for you, but also
I
like
would have, if we had to have a Florida team, I wanted it to be Tampa.
that's what I originally thought. And then, you know, everything I thought went out the window very quickly.
I
But
also, I do need to wonder at what point the league looks at Florida and is like, if you keep injuring players,
mm,
we're
wait,
gonna
I
have an
thought you were
issue.
gonna go a different way because there's a whole conversation about teams. I think Vegas is also part of this, and there's another team. The states like the no
Income
income
tax?
tax on the cap slash salaries for players and teams that are in those states.
Yeah.
Florida's a big one, so both those teams kind of get the exception.
Yeah.
Vegas, another one. There's another one I feel like that exists.
I mean, you can't really
But
change like state
no,
law. Um, but I think like it's probably one of the reasons that Brad Marchand was like, yeah, this is fine.
yeah,
Um,
this is fine. I'll go with it.
I like it's there.
It's
It's
just
not a bad point. Um, but I don't think that it affects the teams as much as people think that it does.
no.
Um, because it's not like Connor McDavid is up and shipping to Vegas or Florida. Like if that was really that much of a big deal, I feel like Sidney Crosby would have moved
Yeah,
already. Ovechkin would
true.
have moved or like these big name players,
Yeah.
they would be in those states already if that was like
Yeah.
that much of a concern. Also, these people are multimillionaires. Like I really don't care about their money situation.
Oh,
Um, they should make
you
less.
yes, you did say that, but also the point going back to Toronto, when we get back to the whole eventually in the summer, the UFA conversation, this pretty much could be Mitch Marner's last game as a Maple Leaf. John Tavares too, although I think he wants to come back for at least a year. We'll see how that
Well,
works.
he said he wanted to stay on Long Island too, so
Yeah.
who the hell
So who
knows?
knows? But Mitch Marner,
Also, I saw someone
98% sure.
comparing the two.
What? Like him leaving the island and
People
leaving
were
what?
saying that if Mitch Marner
Oh,
leaves
oh, oh.
Toronto as a UFA, that they should boo him every time he comes back. They should never welcome him back in that city. And I was like, no, here's the thing, because Mitch
That's a
has
totally different situation, I feel
it's a
like.
different situation, but also like Mitch exercising his no movement clause is a legal right that he has in his
Yeah,
contract.
it's there for a
Um,
reason.
and it's not like he sat down at a press conference and said, I'm staying here come hell or high water.
Yeah. Like he's made it known he wants to stay, but also if the team doesn't offer him the money or the contract that he wants, like if he leaves, I don't think anybody would like
I just
Leafs will
don't
be mad. Yeah.
I just don't think it's the same situation at
No.
all. Um,
It's I feel like maybe it's like kind of comparable, but it's not the same thing by any measure.
I just like also there's no guarantee that Miko Rantanen would have been like, yeah, shut me up to Toronto.
Yeah. See ya.
Like, no. Um,
Yeah,
I
but
just don't think they're the same situation.
if they do lose, that is the I feel like the focal point of it. Because that's like you're breaking up what we've started calling them the core five now because of Nyes. But Marner's played there his whole career, et cetera, et cetera. But
I I love Nyes as a player, and I think that he might be better off getting an offer sheet somewhere else and
ooh,
seeing.
he's an RF. Oh no, but I can
I just
happen.
think he's better off probably leaving than he is staying in Toronto.
Yeah,
For
but
like the
like where
progression
would
of his
he?
career. I don't know, but I feel like there
Solid
are
point.
places that could probably like develop him better and keep him
And the
in
not
the
so much
spotlight
pressure
for
of,
longer. Yeah.
yeah, good point.
Um, Also, like, there's the conversation about Matthews and whether or not the C is impacting his performance, which
I think he's probably hurt,
he's been hurt the whole
injured.
season.
Yeah, so like I
Um,
don't also I understand that conversation, but like I don't know. I wouldn't know clearly. But like do they even think about that as like a captain enough? Like I know it's a responsibility, but like your level of play is different than how you are
but I
leading
just
the team,
the
I
my
imagine.
question is like as a captain in a professional league, it's not the same as like being a captain on like a high school or college where it's
No.
you have to like because I remember like there were like paperwork that had to be filled out when you were in high school and college. Like you had to do all of like you were like the
Mhm.
president of the club. Like you had
Yeah.
responsibilities. As a professional team captain, I'm like I feel like you're just there to kind of like guide
Yeah.
people.
Lift. Yeah, exactly. And
You
I
don't
feel
actually
like
have to do anything except for like your job.
yeah. But as I mean like it kind of just like goes together. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Like I
don't
don't think he has any actual extra responsibilities. And I
know.
don't think like I think that if putting a C on your jersey really impacts your mental state that much, then you shouldn't have accepted it in the first place.
Yeah.
Um, Hot take.
No? It's valid?
But back to Florida, I do wonder at what point like I
You
understand like
actually
there's like the whole like nepo baby
get
issue within the player safety,
yeah.
but they keep injuring people and nothing's done about it.
No.
And it gets to the
I
point where it's like, hey, I love how I know that like you're not supposed to say violent. I love how physical hockey is.
but
And
there's a line.
yeah, well, when you get to the point where you've injured all of your players and you can't have a team anymore, like,
Yeah. Or like you're a multiple offender of doing said injury or causing said injury on several other players on opposite teams, like a reoccurring theme should kind of give it away. I also, this is probably me just being like, I don't know if it's me being petty or like too woke about it or whatever, however you want to word it. But like if they win the cup and their whole path to the cup is just injuring players in the other team, like that feels so superficial to me
yeah,
because I'm like, that might be the wrong word, but like you didn't really play good hockey to win the cup. You just like shoved your way there by
it's
injuring
like cheating
people.
your way there, kind
Yeah, that's
of.
what yeah. It doesn't feel like legit.
It's not earned.
Yeah.
It was
And I
like
like
forced.
I know most people probably don't look at it that way, but to me I'm like that's not like I
I
get it, but also not how it should have been done.
I don't know that I agree, but I understand where you're coming from
Yeah.
because
It's like hard I
I
can't
do
explain it the way I
think
want to explain it.
I do think that part of the game of hockey, especially in the cup finals and the playoffs, is you have to kind of injure the other
No, it
people.
absolutely but I feel like they've gotten to the point where that's like all
But there's also a difference between like slamming someone into the boards in a legal way
yes.
and maybe just going
Absolutely.
a little bit harder than you would in the regular season. But like they have the puck, you're allowed to hit them, you hit them in the right way.
Mhm.
And like when I say like I don't actually mean like injure. I mean like rough them up a little bit. Like
Yeah.
take the play
Like
that you would
somewhere
have
else.
during the regular season and just amp it up by like five.
Yeah.
I do not mean intentional hits to the head.
Yes.
I do not mean being reckless with your elbows. Because again, like I look at how the Florida Panthers play and then I look at like Matt Rempe, and I'm sorry to just
Imagine
keep
if Matt
bringing it
Rempe
back to
did
him, but if
imagine if he did any of that.
he would be kicked out of the league.
He'd be done. Like we would not be seeing Matt Rempe play NHL hockey ever again. I'm so sorry, but like
No, but like it's a genuine conversation of like which players, because like Bennett's done a lot,
mm,
but then there's these are the same people that have an issue with Brad Marchand licking people. Like, come on.
but that's also very different.
It's harmless unless he has
Yeah,
some kind of like STD
true.
of the mouth. Like,
Something else. Yeah. It is true,
Or he
true
has like
statement.
tuberculosis and he's looking like, come on.
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny how it's not kind of funny. I guess I even hear it at work all the time where now it's like we will see a hit or something will happen. They'll be like, "Oh my god!" Like if it doesn't get penalized, like imagine if Matt Rempe did that, or like X. And I'm like, the fact that we have to like reframe it as if this certain player did that same thing, they'd get penalized, but this one isn't, kind of tells you everything you should know about how player safety is currently working, I guess. But I don't
I just
know.
think it needs to be like reviewed because I am like in the next like
It's
CBA discussion or something because again, I love how physical hockey is. I think it's one of the best
yeah.
parts of the sport. One of my other favorite sports is hurling.
Oh, I love it. That's fun.
And if you haven't seen
That's the
clips of
brooms,
it,
right?
you should, huh?
That's the brooms. Curling?
Hurling.
Oh,
I
I thought you
do
said curling, and I was like, that's where they have the brooms, and
I
they like.
do love curling.
Okay, never
But no,
mind.
hurling is a
Okay,
Gaelic
we're good.
sport.
Yes, I did not hear that correctly. That's why I was like, what?
I will find a video and link it in the show notes. It is so violent.
We
And
love
like
that.
violent. Um, like there are literally videos of someone like taking the paddle to someone's face and like their nose being like
Oh my god.
it's kind of funny. Um, anyways, like I'm not one who's like, "Oh, we need to make them not hit each other." No, I love it.
No.
I love the fights. I love all of it.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where these players like someone's like what is does someone have to die on the ice for them to take it seriously?
I was gonna say like the level of okay, that's your physical play, and that's what the playoffs are all about, but also these are real human beings who can suffer from medical emergencies at any point given whatever may happen, and they deserve to be. I know they're being put in a like they
I
chose to
just
be put in a position that they could
hits
be
to
in
the
hit,
head
but
or not, you don't sign up for that. I don't
no,
think.
and that's what I mean. Like they deserve to be protected by the league that they're playing for, and that, like the respect from other players not to do something like that
Yeah.
to them. You know what I mean?
Because also
But
like I know that you can't like you're not supposed to take into account who got hit, but
yeah.
let's say like Connor McDavid takes a
Oh my
nasty
god.
hit to the head,
Yeah.
the entire NHL fandom would be in an uproar about it.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't think that we should only care about protecting certain players, and I don't think that we should only care
I
about
agree.
punishing certain players. And I
Hmm.
think that like hits, like I saw someone say this, that hits to the head should be like an automatic 1 game suspension, and then they review it. Like you get tossed from the game,
That's
and you get a
smart.
1 game suspension automatically, and then they review it afterwards.
Yeah, I could see it, but I feel like that would anger a lot of people.
I also kind of
But
agree with like I'm not like an eye for an eye person whatsoever, but I do agree with if you hit someone so much that they are out for a while, you should sit for the same amount of time. Like within a reasonable amount.
yeah,
Like if you hit someone and they're out for 6 games, okay, you also sit for 6 games.
I would say, but like once it gets to like month wise, but yeah,
Yeah.
like if it's a limited, like
But also like then you get to
that
like the
makes
Kale
sense.
McCarr with like Gabe Landeskog, like that was obviously an accident.
Yeah, but I know what you mean to be like, oh, you missed like X amount of games because of said injury, and you came back. Like you should, the player that caused that should, yeah, I guess the correlating, you also sit for that amount of
And
games.
again, I am specifically talking about hits to the head.
Yeah,
I think that like other injuries that could be like accidental because of a little bit too much force, like that is part of playing the game, I think.
yeah,
But when
but
it
the head
comes to
hits
hit
are,
head, yeah, I think that it needs to be a lot more involved,
yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree. Should we mention the
I was
PWHL
gonna say we should do that
before we
quickly
go?
because this is gonna be like a really
Um,
long episode.
I guess I don't want to say to everyone's surprise, but to most people's surprise, the Walter Cup final or the PWHL final, however you're saying it, will be between the Minnesota Frost and the Ottawa Charge. Both, I think they both won them in 3-1 series, right? No, Frost was 3-2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Montreal was eliminated.
Toronto losing definitely gave me a bit of a shock, but I think
Yeah.
that like first, I think that there's like their own version of like the President's Cup trophy curse in the PW because
Yeah,
like
don't be the first seed because if you're like
yeah,
to pick your own opponent, that opponent's gonna eliminate you. like every year. I also think it's funny that like Toronto didn't even pick Minnesota this year and they still couldn't get past them. It was the same matchup. This is also I thought of this the other day and I didn't want to put it on threads because it felt really mean because I wanted Montreal to win, but before Vancouver and Seattle get here, the only two teams that haven't won a playoff series are the Victoire and the Sirens haven't even made the playoffs. And I wanted to put it on the internet, and I was like, that feels really mean. I don't want to say that. I don't want to put it out there, but like the Victoire hadn't the one game they won in this series was their first ever playoff win.
Yeah, and
So I was just like, that's
it's got to be really hard because they're such a
yeah,
good regular season team, but I did read some discourse about like their insistence on playing the top line consistently and
yeah.
how like the time on ice for like Pullen and Stacy
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
um and like how often Ambrose is on the ice. Like I think that Montreal's a great team, but maybe it does lack a little bit of depth, like
Yeah,
where
they're a
they
little top
want
heavy.
to.
Yeah.
Um I don't know, but seeing them like so distraught after the
I
game
know.
because they basically admitted they're like, this is the last time this group is ever going to be together because of the
Yeah.
expansion draft, and like we don't know what's going to happen. Because also
Mhm.
the league has not finalized expansion draft. I promise that as soon as we have information, we will tell
They have
you.
not said anything. They're
Um,
like, "We know this, but it hasn't been said to anybody yet." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, but I kinda need to know." And, like,
but
the
like they don't
GMs of the
like the
teams
GMs are
should
also
know.
don't know. Yeah.
Like, okay.
I was like, guys, the draft is in like a month. When are we?
Literally. Like, we should figure that out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
Ottawa won they made the playoffs the first time, won their first playoff series, going to the final for the first time. Minnesota won last year, so they can repeat, which if they do, they'd be the first to ever do that because we're only second season. But yeah,
yeah, we'll
I
see.
I'm so sad about Montreal. I really am. Like, I'm happy for Ottawa because like that game sounded like the fans were so excited and happy about it, but like the roster that Montreal has and just like the season they had, I just was like, oh, it's got to be them. It's gonna be their year, and apparently they don't win the regular season.
Yeah.
It's like their own President's Trophy curse. Except you don't get an award for it. You just get to pick your own opponent who eliminates you.
Who wants to kill you?
Yeah, but everybody's now is like, I wonder how long the league keeps that a rule. And I'm like, but I kind of still like it. I don't think it's a downfall of the rules. It's just that's what's happened in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I don't know. Did you do that on purpose? Oh, I was like, anyway.
Um, I think it's a good, I mean, I posed the question on threads too of like, do they take it away? And everyone's like, no. And I was like,
Yeah,
I agree. I'm just
I
trying
just think it's
to,
funny. Everybody's like, they've been eliminated twice. And I'm like, okay, but what if next year doesn't happen? It could change.
we'll
Anyway,
see.
yeah, that final starts on Tuesday.
Tuesday, the
Yeah,
20th.
so we'll be sad. That's that.
I will definitely be watching all of those games. I cannot guarantee I'll be watching all of the what conference finals.
I'll have all of them going all at the same time. That's
That's
how
what
I usually end up doing.
that's real quick. There was the Knicks game, the Mets Yankees Subway
Oh, the other
Series,
night.
the PWHL game, and also the Toronto Panthers game. And my dad texts me and goes, "Which game are you watching?" And I was
What
like,
game am I
"Excuse
not
me." I literally had all of them on my TV,
That's
my
so
computer
you.
screen, like in like a four-way, and then I had the WNBA on my phone. It's great.
That's how it goes. That's how it is. But yeah, I
I
love
have
that.
no self-control. It's fine.
Do either of us? No.
Do you think Minnesota or Ottawa wins? Quick, go.
I'm gonna go Ottawa just for the fun of it.
I think I say Minnesota skill-wise, but I would like Ottawa to win. I think it'd
Yeah,
be
I think
fun.
it'd be also I think it'd be cool to see a different team
Yeah.
win. I know we've only had one, but like just
No, it'd be fun to
keep it
diversify.
interesting, I guess. But yeah,
All right. I'm gonna cut it because this is gonna be like a 2 hour long episode.
we've talked for so long.
And I cannot editing any of this out. It's all talking.
Oh my gosh. All
All
right.
right.
Well, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.